Yes, hello, my name is Eicke Latz. I'm the Scientific Director of the German Center of Rheumatology Research. I'm also part of the Charité ecosystem. I'm doing basically science, in basic science, in immunology, but I also translate whatever we find useful in the basic science lab into novel medicines. Europe has lagged behind in recent years in biotechnology, so I think what we need to translate our science better into medicines, and that requires an ecosystem for translation that we don't really have fully here in Europe. And now it's a really good time to change that, because we spend about 3.2% of our GDP in science and have fantastic science and fantastic scientists. But the translation of science into novel medicine requires an entire different field, which is the ecosystem for translation that requires rich funding, venture capital, and the system that allows you to create very easily biotech companies that then bring about your science and translate it into novel medicines. Scientists that want to translate need to meet venture capitalists and people that have the funding to support the translation. So this type of meeting has to be somehow engineered and has to be somehow put in place, because this doesn't come by chance. People that meet and talk about science, talk about funding of science, talk about funding of translation, they typically meet in one place and mingle and have their own science displayed. And the investors, they want to look at many different potential companies that they want to invest in, and it has to be done in a way that is not random, but has to be orchestrated and organized. And that's why a conference that brings the science, the scientists, as well as the funders and venture capitalists together is very useful for translation of science into novel medicines. Well, the drug discovery is typically a trial and error principle. So you have an idea, you test out compounds, very large libraries of compounds, hundreds, thousands, millions of compounds, to see whether your pathway is somehow blocked or activated, depending on what you want to develop. With AI, we can now do test runs in silico, so you can predict which compounds can potentially work to target your pathway. And this was unmatched before. We have not seen this before. Let's say 10 years ago, where there was not such a powerful AI, we were not able to use that technology in drug discovery as we do it these days. Another area where AI will surely make a big difference is in the diagnostics part, or the diagnostics field, where we can now understand biomarkers and diseases and how these things connect. And the overarching aim of AI is to put together large data sets, understand large data sets in conjunction with phenotypes of diseases, for example, or risk factors for diseases, lifestyle factors for diseases, or lifestyle factors that drive diseases, and so on. Well, if you think you have a useful discovery, don't put it in a drawer and let somebody else find it. You are the expert. Go ahead, take your own discovery and try to make it a new tool, make it a new diagnostic, make it a new therapeutic, because in the end you are the expert in your field and you want to drive your own discovery. Berlin has an amazing amount of scientists. We have 50 extra university research institutions, we have 4 universities. There's a lot of discovery going on in Berlin, and the city is large enough to attract also talent. We have about 25% of the population is from foreign countries. It's a melting pot for science and hopefully also soon a melting pot for translation in the biomedical field. And that's why we brought about BioCap, because we want to bring people together that are innovators and people that are together that are funders for the new innovations. The industry is at the moment in a big downturn when it comes to funding of scientific translation. But as the markets are recovering, I think that also the biotech funding and the venture capital industry will have an upturn again. And we hope to capitalize on this with BioCap, because now is the time to bring funders and scientists together, because we are here to translate the next findings of our scientific discoveries. My passion comes from medicine, because I used to be a practicing physician. I actually was working as an intensive care physician here at the Charité in Berlin, and left medicine for the sole reason to change medicine. So I need to explain that. As an intensive care physician, you treat very sick people, but you don't really know why they're so sick. So for that, you need to understand how the immune system functions. And when I left medicine, this was the time when the first receptors of the innate immune system were identified. I had the strong belief that this area will bring about a lot of different drug targets that allow us to treat people more specifically or treat their diseases more specifically, but also will allow us to understand the molecular underpinnings of diseases more clearly. So I think what motivates me the most is the view of the patients I had in the intensive care units, and the view that we can now understand diseases on a molecular level and try to understand and try to find novel pathways and novel ways to modify these diseases in a molecular way.